Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to show you some extremely easy yet very powerful drills for your pinky to both speed it up, strengthen endurance, and build some precision so that when you play guitar, your pinky is not holding you back. So these drills are going to be perfect for absolute beginners as well as advanced players. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a process, a 7-step process. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to isolate the pinky and then also sync it up with your picking hand to make sure that we don't get out of sync. We start playing faster and all that kind of stuff, okay? So the first step is technique. So we're not even going to worry about the pinky just yet, because if your technique's all jacked up, it's not going to work. And what I mean by that is, first off, how I'm holding the guitar. Notice the angle is going up. So I realize a lot of people will play like this. This is okay, but the problem is if this is straight or going down, what happens is you're going to kink up your wrist, okay? So the way we play guitar, we want to keep the wrist as straight as possible, okay? So now you can see also the curvature is in the pinky, because if not, and I put it in the wrist, what happens is this is going to start to hurt, ache, carpal tunnel, tendonitis, very bad. But then when you play, you're going to be making these massive motions. We don't want to speed this up. We want to be efficient, okay? So that's actually the first step. If you want to speed it up, is just to get smaller motion. And notice the angle, you can see this, okay? The angle of the knuckles is essentially parallel with the guitar neck, and that'll start to change as you work up. So as you get maybe to like the 12th fret, you kind of scoop in and go like that. We're not going to worry about playing up here just right now. But we want this, again, the curvature to be in your pinky, so we're not making these massive motions, and we try to get this to be fast, precise, endurance. This is not going to work, okay? Now the other thing is going to be your thumb placement. So if you put your hand out here, it's like this, my friend.
Oh, Vincenzo, insalata caprese.
So if you put your thumb over here, notice what happened? My pinky just collapsed. It's not going to work. It's not going to stretch. It's going to be really hard to train. So the thumb is going to be following these two fingers. When you make big stretches, it's going to be in the middle. So the thumb is going to be right here. You can't see it. It's directly behind. I'm going to lower it. Boom. Okay? So that's just some super basic but extremely important information on how the fret hand works, how to hold the guitar. Because again, if you screw up the technique, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's just not going to work. Anyways, let's go to the first one. On to step 2, which would be our first drill. Go ahead and put your hands like so. I'm going to put my first finger, the index, on first string 1, and then my pinky on first string 8. And what we're going to do is what I call finger push-ups. Now, just like a push-up, if you do 1, it does nothing for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to slam in until we get tired. So turn my volume up. I'm doing a hammer-on, so I'm not picking. I'm slamming in as hard as I can, and it's causing the string to vibrate. So again, there's going to be a little coordination going on right now. This first finger is not moving, see that? It's not doing anything, I'm just slamming that one in. So to do this correctly, what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 minute on the clock. Okay, so we're going to do this drill for 1 minute straight, and this is extremely important. Like I just said, if you do it once, it does nothing for you. It's like a push-up, you do it once, it doesn't do anything. So we're trying to get this to be faster, and we're going to go until we get tired. The trick is do not stop. So when you get tired, you can slow down, but I need it to always sound. Okay? Sweet. The only exceptions to stopping is if you have sharp pain, aching, numbness. This is very bad. You're holding the guitar wrong. You're doing something wrong, and we don't want a guitar injury. But if you feel a burning sensation, this is what we're after. This is what's going to force your fingers to get faster and shape quicker. Okay? So I'm going to put go. I'm going to do this thing with you, and it's going to be awesome. On your mark, get set, go. Oh, shit. Go. Turn it down a little bit. Go as fast as you can. I've done this before, so maybe I'm going a little bit faster. But the interesting thing is the better you get at this, the more you can isolate the muscles back there, and maybe you'll get tired faster. But yeah, because you're really able to focus on whatever muscle you're wanting to do. You see, I'm already starting to slow down. And that little piece of meat right there is on fire right now. All right, I'm slowing down a little bit. As you do this, try not to tense up your arm, your shoulder. This is really burning. Don't stop. Keep it going. Don't wuss out on me. I'm going to wuss out on myself. This hurts. 7 seconds, okay? Okay, we're done. All right, shake that off. All right, so notice on that little drill, there was no memorization required. I just need you to A child could do this. Someone the very first day could do this thing. Your pinky may be flopping all around. That doesn't matter. Or maybe your other fingers. That doesn't matter. Definitely don't be like, oh, that's weird, and to try to hide them underneath. Let them flop around. They're connected in the back. It's normal. That is your first drill. You don't want to sit there and do this for 10 minutes. Obviously, you can get a little injury going on. But we want you to work hard. Just like going to the gym, you're going to go until it just burns and you get tired out. This will train your muscles to get in shape. This is one of the primary reasons why their fingers just always slow is because, yeah, they play, but they're not training to get them in shape. All right, now going on to step 3, we're gonna do what I call finger runs. We're just gonna be running on the same string, and what we're gonna do, we can do that same thing. We're on the 5th fret of 1st string, go 8, 7, 5. That is it. So, again, we're isolating. I'm not using my picking hand, I'm just resting it here. Again, yes, there's some coordination going on with this. You're gonna go nice and slow. You don't wanna be going, right? It needs to be distinct. Could do this for a minute, but I won't work you through that again. I'll leave that to you. There you go. So that's what you're gonna do. But then also, harder position up here where there's a lot more stretching involved. You can do it up here on, let's say, the 12th fret. So 15, 14, 12. Now the next thing is picking it. So for example, we're gonna start to sync them up. So instead of going, I'm now gonna pick each note. And I'm doing alternate picking. You go at your speed, of course. But again, we are now really targeting that pinky and even the ring finger with this one. Maybe a little bit different motion that you've done before. All right, so moving on to step 5. Actually, step 4 was integrating in your picking hand with it. We're gonna do finger sprints. So now what's gonna happen is we're gonna be sprinting across the strings. We're gonna continue on with isolating the fret hand first. So just go and pick down, and then we're gonna slam in on the 8th fret. So I'm on 5 and 8. So 5, 8, and then 5th string, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8. Does that make sense? And you come back up, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8. That's it, nice and slow. When you do this, make sure that pinky is just smashing into that string. If you go to hammer on, it doesn't really sound, you're doing it wrong. We need that motion, so you go as slow as you need, but we need it to be powerful. And then later, you'll be able to speed that up. But we want to make sure that's very accentuated. You can try this in different locations. Now, the second part of step 5 is we're gonna do pull off. So before we were focusing on this motion of, let's say we're like a boxer or something. We're focusing on this motion, slamming in forward, but now we're gonna work on the recoil. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna pick the 8 and then pull off to the 5. So we're gonna work on some pull offs and the muscle that comes back, okay? So pick, pull off, and then go across the strings. Okay? So pick, I pick the 8, pull off, pick the 8, pull off. Does that make sense? Yes, of course, you can do this anywhere. It feels a little different. Now, the last part of step 5 is we're gonna do hammer-ons as we go down, and then pull-offs when we come up. That makes sense? So hammer, 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 pull, pull, pull. Now you probably already thought of this, but we could even get more mileage out of this one. Maybe we should do these 2 fingers. That makes sense? I'm going 6, 8, and I'm using my 2nd finger. Same thing will apply. Do hammer-ons, up and down, pull-offs. Oh, what a pain. And then hammers down, pull-offs back up. And yes, one more, and I'll put this in the description below, so if you're like, I can't remember. And now the worst one, we're gonna focus on the ring finger and the pinky. Like, all the way down, let's screw it up. And yes, this finger is like bobbing like you see those little parrots and they kind of bob their head. Obviously your fingers and everything's connected in the back. So if you try to be like, I'm trying to play guitar and not have it bounce, this is what's gonna happen. Don't worry about that, who cares, okay? Again, same thing, pull-offs, what a pain, hammer-ons down, pull-offs back up. Now what we're gonna do is some finger sprints with integration of your picking hand. So we're gonna do the same thing, but now we're gonna be picking. Now, picking hand, you pick down through the strings, so it's go down, up, the next string's a down, up. If you're doing all down picks, trying to go across the strings or play scales, you're doing it wrong. So down, up, I'm referring to my picking hand. Down, up, 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 down. Now, of course, when you do the isolation as far as like the hammer-on and pull-offs, it's going to be way harder for your pinky because it has to use so much more energy to make a sound and then to pull off. But if we don't sync them up, we're kind of defeating the purpose because that's what we do when we play guitar. Okay, so step 7 is not an exercise. It's just something that I want you to consider. Maybe with whatever you're playing, if you're like trying to play some music or a part of a solo and you're trying to get your pinky faster, maybe you should consider that you shouldn't even be using your pinky for that piece of music. Because what happens is this is the strong side of the hand, weak side of the hand, and sometimes it's easier to simply not even use your pinky. So when I was a kid, I would do all sorts of drills trying to get my, my fingers faster, and obviously, it worked, but there's some things where it would take 10x the amount of time and effort to get your pinky faster when you just use your other fingers. Now let me give you just a little example of what I'm trying to get across. Is let's say you're playing a lick like this. I'm in position, meaning if I'm in 10th position, then all my fingers are lining up and they're doing whatever fret is where they're perfectly aligned. However, that specific lick is way harder to play fast, keep it clean, versus if I was gonna switch over and maybe go like this. So I change positions. Versus. Just take that into consideration. Maybe with whatever you're playing, can you maybe not use your pinky? But don't use that as an excuse to not train your pinky, which I know you won't because you're here. Now to wrap things up, I would recommend only do these drills for a max of 10 minutes per day. So there's a couple reasons for that. First one, you don't want a guitar injury. So you don't want to be doing these drills such as those finger push-ups and just frying your neurons, your muscles, and then you end up getting an injury. The other is you don't want to be that guy who's, if someone asks you to play and you're just like, oh, I just do finger drills, man. I'm a finger mover. I do drills. You don't want to be that guy. So do your drills and then play your songs, do your things. I know I shouldn't have to say that, but sometimes I see people and that's like the extent of their playing. They can maybe play a couple riffs and then maybe they do a bunch of drills and that's what they do when they practice guitar. So do some drills, play your songs, solos, whatever you're doing, okay? Great, so I hope this helps. If you have any questions on this, let me know in the comment section below. If you're running into specific issues with your hands, your pinky, whatever else, I'm happy to make a video on that. And we'll hope to see you in another video.